Guys, I have been searching forever to find the most perfect hat to sell, and I finally found it. I was working with them, getting them in, trying to get some in stock, and guess what? At the same time, I was just about to start posting these. Cletus had actually been wearing one of these in one of his videos, a black one with an FF right here. It's the Richardson 632. He's right. It's the most perfect freaking hat ever. I love it. This thing is so awesome. Not only is it snapback, it's stretchy. I'll show you. Turn the camera around, see the side of my head here. Look, it's stretchy. So awesome. The most comfortable snapback hat I've ever wore. Not only is it stretchy, that allows you to like change the size. So right now you can see I've got 3 of them clipped in. I can actually put it on 4 and it's still comfortable. It's just a little more snug. So awesome. You don't even got to like the channel to want one of these. It's just cheap old cars. Got the cheap old Mustang. There's 2 cheap old GMT 800s out there. Absolutely love cheap old cars. If you like cheap old cars, pick up a hat. Link in my bio and in video description. Thanks, guys.
Say it with me, for we walk by faith, not by sight. Hey guys, how do you like that ad at the start there? This is John with Cheap Old Cars and Corners. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about some comments that I've kind of been getting recently, and it's not that they're directed towards me or anything. It's just there's some comments that came up in Facebook pages and in my videos, and I just kind of wanted to address them. That there is part of it that it's like neither of the people that made these comments, I don't think, really paid attention to what I was saying. But that's a whole different thing, and I will cover some of that, but not directed towards those people that made those comments. So first off, before I get into that stuff, what is going on here? So I didn't put out a midweek video. This one's going to come out on Saturday. I had technical issues and health issues this week. I had so many issues with my microphones. I recorded quite a bit that I've kept the footage. Maybe I can use it as B-roll other places, but the audio just wasn't working properly. So I recorded quite a bit that had to get just set to the side. And that's always frustrating, but hey, whatever. And so I needed to clean the garage. We possibly have some hail coming. There's some pretty strong storms coming. They said it was going to be Tuesday. Now it might be Wednesday. And like right now it's Saturday and it's sunny. And we were supposed to have some storms today. So maybe I did all this for nothing. But we have these 4 old Mustangs. Love them to death. And our 2, GMT 800s. We sold that GMT 900 Tahoe, by the way. But we got this stuff and we want to keep them nice. And with all this, IRS and coilover project stuff I've been working on in the garage has just been messy, and I was like, you know what, there's no reason for this. I can get this cleaned up. So I went out here to clean it, and I ended up filming this over 2 days, even though you can look at what's there and it's like it's not really that much. That brings me to the health issue. So mainly due to a medicine I have to take, I massively overproduce red blood cells. My hematocrit count is very high. And I'm supposed to have my blood drained off, or I just go to like I donate blood basically, and take however much they take, a pint or whatever it is. I honestly don't know, but I go donate blood, and I'm supposed to do it like every 2 weeks, that's a lot. And they can't find a vein on my left arm. They dug a lot one day. And they just can't ever find the vein on my left arm. So it's always my right arm, and doing the right arm with that fat needle that they use every 2 weeks. Well, I've got some scar tissue build up, and like it hurts to move that joint. Now it's just the skin there at the top that hurts. I know it's not the joint itself, but it hurts to move my right arm, and I'm right-handed, so I'm like, ugh, this is not fun. So I had been stretching it out to a month, and then other things came up, and I'm just a stubborn guy. So it had been about 4 months, and typically at about 2 months it starts impacting me, because the red blood cell count is higher. The red blood cells aren't carrying as much oxygen, and so my muscles get weak easier and quicker. I don't have as much oxygen going to my brain, which is really stupid for me to hold off on doing this thing. But I don't really feel the impact until about 3.5 months. But my wife tells me and she is correct, that I started getting irritable about 2 months. And so at 4 months, I was like, everything was making me mad, and I didn't understand why. And she's like, it's got to be the blood thing. So then I looked it up, and was like, oh, it actually can. And I didn't know it could impact me from a temperament standpoint that much. It can. And, I didn't realize that. Geez, that IRS is heavy. It's like 300 pounds. I didn't lift the whole thing. There's not really good places to grab it, and it's awkward, and then it moves too. Anyway. So, yeah. Got the blood taken off the day before I filmed this, and my goodness, just out of breath super easily, and muscles hurting really, really bad from doing not that much. And I'm overweight, and I'm working on that. I am down. My weight had stalled. I was 335 at my highest, guys. It was just ridiculous. I'm like 5'10". And I dropped. I was on a pretty good little weight loss, kick, and I dropped about 40 pounds. I got down to 295. And then I hovered right around 300 for months now, for quite a while now. Basically, since I started this YouTube channel, I've been right at 300. And it's just not good. You can see I walk like a fat penguin guy there. Part of that is due to another injury, a really fun one. Some gas spilled in my garage, and I didn't know it. Some gas had leaked out of something, and I stepped on it, and that paint on the floor mixed with the gas, and that became the slickest substance I've ever stepped on. Like, you put water on top of ice, it ain't as slick as that. And so as soon as my foot hit it, my forward momentum just shot my feet out from under me, and I landed on my butt. And so now I've got like SI joint problems, like your sacroiliac joint on the right side. It's always like tries to lock up, and I can get it to pop and unlock sometimes, but it's a pain. I was making a short right here, and it didn't work out very well, but I made it like 3 or 4 different times. And geez. Anywho, so yeah, cleaning the garage up, and I don't know. I've talked for a while about that part. So let's get on to the other part, the actual stuff in the video that I wanted to talk about. In one post I made, I had, there's some comments like, I don't know what I'm talking about, and all these things, and that we'll get to that in a minute. That's a little frustrating, but we'll get there. But there was one comment that was like, well, if you just wanted to have no body roll or less body roll, why didn't you just do sway bars? Well, I mean, yeah, sway bars can reduce body roll, but that wasn't like nowhere in there did I say that was the main thing I was after. And then that got me kind of thinking, like, why would you do sway bars first? Because all the car setup books I've read and race car building books I've read and all the things, it's like get your springs and dampers first and then tune with your sway bars at the end. That's what I've always read. And you guys tell me if I'm wrong, if that's not what people do now. But it would seem weird to me to set your sway bars first and then go changing your spring rates and stuff. That doesn't make much sense to me. But yeah, if you guys know different, if I'm behind on my knowledge base there, and just looking at old stuff, then tell me. But I don't think I'm wrong. And then that led me to another one on YouTube. I had a comment that was like, well, if you're just worried about your steering geometries, keeping those the same, because I talked about that in one of my last 2 videos. Like, if you're just worried about the steering geometries, why don't you just run like drop spindles or knuckles, whatever you want to call them? And that got me thinking. That one really got me thinking, because I don't ever really pay attention to drop spindles for these Mustangs or really ever go looking for them, and I don't see other people talking about them and stuff. But with like trucks, like the GMT 800s I have, drop spindles that's huge. That's a bunch of stuff in there. I was following the dog around with the camera. That's like a big thing. Very common, used a lot. And then in other muscle cars and different stuff, that's just a lot more commonly used, right? So I didn't really understand, like, hey, where are the drop spindles for these Mustangs? Now, I kind of understood why they're not popular even before looking them up. Because these cars, you can't lower them much anyway, and then when you do lower them, you need a stiffer spring. And so I'm like, well, what kind of use case would drop spindles have on these cars? You drop 2 inches, and you're pretty low. You go lower than 2 inches, I mean, you're really slammed. So there's not much room to drop them in the first place. And I went looking them up. It's like they're mainly for drag cars. I'm like, okay, cool. So you got your tall but soft spring, and that can transfer weight by the front of the car coming up, and put weight on the rear. And then you want the car still to have a lower ride height. So okay, you drop spindle for that. But yeah, one thing I noticed is that they don't seem to hold up well to cornering usage. I was spraying the driveway with some bleach right there to clean up some black spots. Yeah, they don't hold up well to cornering usage. And then there's some that are like have extra gussets and modified and extra welding, and they're just stronger for road course stuff. And it's like, oh, okay, so this is not up my alley. They don't hold up to the type of stuff that I'm doing. And they're $630. Now, if we take dampers out, $630 is the price of a Maximum Motorsports coilover conversion for the front, and H&R SS or Race or iBox springs or whatever for the rear, because Maximum Motorsports sells them in split pairs, so you can just get the front or rear or both. Yeah, it's about $630. So you can have coilovers on the front. Obviously dampers aside, because you might need to upgrade dampers to do that. But if you already have Bilsteins, the heavy duty ones, then you can just do that no problem. But yeah, that was kind of interesting, because I just I'd never really thought about drop spindles for these Mustangs, but it's totally a thing just in the drag racing community, which that makes sense. Garage is slowly getting there. Gonna move the bikes again. I go clean up the back porch some here in a minute too, because my back porch, I can fit one car on it, and it is completely covered. So it's when we have a chance of hail coming, it's good to be able to at least put one more up there. Unfortunately, the green bullet has to stay out. Now, here's another thing. I'm a little bit of a complaint here. The Facebook groups. I can post something, because I see this stuff all the time. Like the 275 coilovers are not very good. They're worthless. You shouldn't get them. They're not stiff enough. Blah blah blah. All these things. And I put them on my car, and I go out and I film beforehand, and then I go through all the steps to make sure, like when I go out and film again with the coilovers on, the car's at the exact same ride height. It's on the same time of day, even, so the sun will be in the same place and the shadows will be similar, and so you don't have to look. You don't have to look a lot and kind of like, oh, the shadow's here and here, and with the tires this, you can actually see the difference. And I just get told, you don't know what you're talking about. This is that, or this is that, and that's this, blah blah blah. You're not taking into account this factor or that factor. I could go into detail, but I get told all the time that I don't have a clue, blah, 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 all this stuff. It's like, well, one, half the people telling me this stuff didn't go through the process of learning about setting their car up. They just got what they were told to get. And the other half of the people that do know what they're talking about, they're autocross and road course guys. And yeah, a 275 is not going to be stiff enough for them, but I was able to prove it does have less body roll than the H&R Super Sport, and probably similar or maybe even less stiff than an H&R Race spring on one of these cars. But I just that stuff bothers me, and so I started my own little Facebook group. It's called 79 to 04 Mountain or Canyon Carvers and Mountain Mustangs. So yeah, 79 to 04 Canyon Carvers and Mountain Mustangs. Go check that page out. One thing in the rules and the thing to open it up, it's just leave your ego at the door. I'm just not interested in that. So yeah, go check that group out. Join it if you want. Got 4 or 5 people in it right now. We're just trying to grow it and make it into a place where we can talk about these Mustangs and getting them to handle, but more for street oriented stuff. Anywho, I think that'll be about the end of this one. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Pick up a hat. I'll see you guys in the next one.